had a very nice day today. But how does it work? Aren't animals inhale oxygen and diffuse carbon dioxide? How about the trees? Suppose it uses carbon dioxide then diffuse oxygen, right? I should find the answer.
It's our time. 우린 달라. 특별한 게 좋아. Oh, what a good time. 난 잘 살아. 내 걱정 낭비야. 네가 보낸 DM을 읽고 나서 답이 없는 게 답이야. That's my style. OOTD 하나같이 완전 우리 답지. My favorite things. 그런 것들은 좀 점수를 매기지 마. 난 생각만한 대로 사네. 야 뭘 더 바래. That's my style. 우리만의 자유로운 나의 뒷길 지금까지 한 적 없는 custom fit 올려대는 나의 비드 I like it 돌린 듯이 눌러 모두 다 like it
Assalamualaikum and hello dear students. Okay, so just now you have a think about how the gases exchange happens. Very good idea, because that's what we're going to learn today. Chapter 8, and it falls under 8.3 Gases Exchange in Humans. Before we start, we need to know about the organs used in our gases exchange process. Do you have any idea of it? It's not that so hard. What do you think the organs that you use when we breathe? Please follow me. Trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, alveolus, and lungs. Let's repeat again. Trachea, bronchus, bronchioles, and alveolus, and lungs. Easy, right? So there are 5 main organs that use in gases exchange in humans. And before we come into the process, let's now think. There are actually 2 locations, okay? There are 2 locations of gases exchange. The first one located in the upper area, where it shares about the alveolus to the blood capillary. That is the first location of gases exchange. And the second location occurred here. Happens between, what do you think? Yes, blood to the body cells. Blood to the body cells. So there are 2 locations of gases exchange happens in humans. So let's go into the locations one by one with me. Okay, so just now we have learned about 2 main locations of gases exchange happens, right? So how the procedure, how the process occurred. Now let's get into the first main locations of gases exchange, where, yes, alveolus to the blood capillary system. Okay, so what actually occurred here? As you can see in this video, okay, there is inside the alveolus, there is a higher partial pressure of oxygen, while inside the blood capillary, there is a lower partial pressure of oxygen. So the higher partial pressure of oxygen will diffuse in the lower partial area of oxygen. So the oxygen from the alveolus will diffuse into the lower partial pressure of oxygen into the bloodstream, same as the carbon dioxide. But inside the alveolus, there is a lower partial pressure of carbon dioxide, while in the bloodstream, there is a higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So, using the principle of concentration gradient, the higher to the lower part. So, the higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide will diffuse out to the alveolus, where the lower partial pressure of carbon dioxide is there. It's easy, right? So it's kind of vice versa thing, higher to the lower principle. Just please take note on that. So when we exhale, that's how we exhale the carbon dioxide. Okay, so that's how the first process occurred in the first location. So now, how do you think the oxygen will transport into the second location? It can't transport by its own self, okay? So how does the oxygen transport? So the oxygen will bind to blood. Blood, its scientific name is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin. So when it binds to oxygen, it will called as oxyhemoglobin. Oxyhemoglobin. Interesting, right? Yes. And that's how the smooth journey will goes into the second location. Okay, now we are into the second location of our gases exchange. So here is blood to the cells, right? So do you remember the first location, what is actually happening? Yes, the concentration gradient. So inside the blood there is a higher partial pressure of oxygen, but inside the cells there is a lower partial pressure of oxygen. So the higher partial pressure of oxygen inside the blood will diffuse in to the cells where there is a lower partial pressure of oxygen. And of course in the cells there is a higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide, where inside the blood there is a lower partial pressure of carbon dioxide. So the higher partial pressure of carbon dioxide inside the cells will diffuse out into the blood. So far so good. So it's a vice versa thing. Okay, so what do you think the transportation of carbon dioxide to move against the concentration gradient? As you can see in the video, it will be very hard, right, to move up against the concentration gradient. So there are three transportation of carbon dioxide. The first one, it binds with the blood. Hemoglobin plus carbon dioxide becomes carbaminohemoglobin. Carbaminohemoglobin. The second transportation, the carbon dioxide will become a bicarbonate ion. Carbon dioxide will become bicarbonate ion. And the last transportation, the carbon dioxide will change itself and become an acid carbonic acid. Okay, so the transportation will goes up against the concentration gradient and comes into the first location again. So the process will occur repetitively until the end of our life. Okay, so that's how the gases exchange occurred inside our body. Okay, so I hope everyone can understand it better. So now let's move on to the next part. Ding, ding, ding. You guys must think, right? How actually the gases exchange happens inside our body smoothly, very smooth, right? Like we have no problems into it. The process happens very smooth, under control, organized because of these 5 major parts. Why this process can happen easily? There are few important features that helps the process smoothly proceed. Number 1, large surface area, which is provided by this particular shape of the alveoli and also by the fact there are lots and lots and lots of them inside of the lungs. Number 2, it's very thin, which provides a short diffusion pathway. Notice that the lining is only 1 cell thick. Number 3, it's also got a moist lining. The inside of each alveolar sac is moist, which allows gases to dissolve, which then allows them to diffuse across the linings. Number 4, it's got a very good blood supply. Each one of the alveoli has lots of blood capillaries surrounding it. And lastly, there is a very good ventilation. Then our basic list means there's really a good supply of air, which supplied through breathing. Okay, we come to the end of our lesson today. I hope everyone understand and can follow what we have learned into this chapter. It is not that heavy, but it needs a lot of practice to understand about this chapter. So, if we doesn't have this process inside our body, we might not live for more than 1 minute, is it? Yes, we need the regulation, the proper regulation, the gases exchange process inside our body to have a good life. So we must be grateful and thankful for this process that occurs inside our body. We must take care of our body if we doesn't want have any implication regarding this process. Your body is very important. Your body is the king of our life. Let's be grateful and thankful for our healthy body today, and let's strive for the best. At the very end of this video, I'll prepare the link of crossword puzzle regarding this chapter. It will enhance your knowledge about this, and I hope you guys have a very wide understanding about this chapter. And that's all from me. Thank you very much. Bye bye.